但是透明化价格透明化的目的，大家还是有对引发一些或者造成一些其他的危险。像是价格，就说你的机器设备啊，或者你的整个汽车零件，就是它各销的一些东西嘛。对，就同时要引进市场，然后引进更大的市场，那么汽车厂，所以你的客户就是非常在同一个产品。那现在变成说，当地的货币的少收益啊，这样除了说的话，定价方面比较方便，我们现在不是在讲那些金融事情。对啊，但是这个，这样的一个论点是共同货币有关系，但是它是跟产品的设计有关系。对啊，你刚才讲的应该是不像你看到的，就是说你的产品该如何去调整，为了就是
也要加入。
为了符合当地消费者他们用的方式，然后来修正。但是我们现在在讲的是。对啊。对，就是说你的这个价格差价，不管是什么原因，是导致的价格差价，就因为你的价格不同的国家不可能是有中间分配，因为它当地的税金，对不对？不一样，然后可能当地的一些同一个产品，但是你发现它通路结构不一样。那通路你也知道嘛，你是行销流动性的，通路越复杂，你中间商越多，越长，通路越长，对不对？长度对不对？当然成本越高，所以你最后的售价也越高。那但是你售价全部是欧元，那意大利售价是20块，那国际的德国，售价是这个22块，对。那在这种情况下会发生什么？就是同一个产品在邻近不同的国家，售价不一样。这个其实不只是 B to B 的问题 ，B to C 有同样这个问题。你会去哪里？对，比如说 说一罐高级的什么保养品，对，一罐在意大利定价是20块，德国是20块，还是25块？那你是德国人？我是举例而已嘛，哈，我是举例，对，他大概就是说，我本来就要去意大利玩啊，我刚好要去印尼，我都没有办法，啊，还是你住在边境，意大利跟德国刚好在边境，台湾人都是喜欢这样啊，他就去香港去看嘛，对，你要去买那个 LV 什么那个精品。啊，那边比较便宜啊，机票又便宜嘛，又临近是不是？我当天来回的，我都觉得他觉得划算啊，你买一个LV包包，你省下5000块就划算了。对，这个是我那边前面哈提到的那个那个什么。价格就是的一个透明化，对，价格还有现在还有加一个这个薪资，你就想一下，就是从劳动力的角度，对，你的奥地利、德国、意大利、比利时全部都是欧元区，时薪多少？同一个行业时薪，如果有落差。都是用欧元来标记，对不对？可以直接比较嘛，对不对？对呀，那你会怎么样？这会导致在整个劳动市场有一个更大的一个现象。对啊，员工的流失嘛，对不对？如果发现我是要当医生。那你在医院跟你的这个薪水在瑞星，德国那边医师的薪水很好，但是意大利那边就差很多。现在是都增加，因为全部现在都是用欧元在计算，我可以直接比较，对不对？那我们会去哪里谈的医生？对，当然前提就是说我就是有其他问题我解决掉了，就是我会讲的问题，所以那些假设都不是问题的话。当然还是有一些限制的，对，因为我还是靠实际帮到那边。OK。 in reality, the prices, the sales price, consumer sales price, retail sales price, will not be exactly the same. There will be some differences, yes. Because of different taxation, because of different channels of distribution, also, right? Yeah. So there will be slight differences from the same. So what does it mean for margins? Why is there pressure on margins? How does price transparency impact margin?对啊，对啊，因为他们加了什么什么的，因为价格比较高嘛，好大的加了什么比较高，才靠这个，其他的这个零售商啊，因为这样子是就降货这个消费者会直接比较。啊，你会提到消费者反应起来，How does the consumer react?
If it were you, where would you buy your 珍珠奶茶? If you had the opportunity. It's a theoretical question. 是理论上的 theoretical question. Okay.
所以你是认真一点。我说的是。
Where do you come from?
Hey guys, you wanna see me? Come, let's take a picture. She's making a video.
My course. Business English. Oh, seriously. Last year. 2 years? 2 years.
Yeah, marketing expertise. So, what are you talking about? Which point are you focusing on? Which one?
They fight the same with the disadvantages of customers.
What disadvantage?
Where customers disadvantages is also on user service. Lots of jobs. So, because we already mentioned the policy on so-called
Yes. How is that related to monetary economy? Because here we are talking about our discussion question is not focused on the pros and cons, right, of having a monetary economy in business environment. Right? Exactly. Yeah. aware, no? Why you ask? I'm not aware about that. I think Central Europe is quite stable in terms of inflationary pressure. Yeah. All the way until COVID, you know, after COVID, of course, it's very, fluctuation is very different. But
7% inflation in
yeah,
Israel.
yeah. But before, we never had this problem. I'm not aware. Yeah, you can answer the question from consumer perspective, right? Yeah, I think it's easier for you to you know, skip into the role, to take the role, right? So suppose you're a tourist, right? Yeah, what are the benefits here? That's the simplest question to ask, right? Yeah, right. Yeah.
Easy to compare among the options.
Right. Okay. Price transparency, right? Mm-hmm. And then you switch to the businesses, right? So price transparency. How do businesses think about that? Is that good or bad? So if you were a hotel, like you were just saying, right? It's easy to compare, for example, hotel prices. Which hotel gives me the best deal, right?
So obviously, business has also more competitive.
Yes.
More competitors.
Right. What else? Yeah, you look at 0.5 pressure on margins. That's related.
That's not a margin.
Yeah, it's related to price transparency. Think about that. It's a condition. Yes.
It also come in market.
Of course. Yeah. So
All the
everything.
political unions have a common
So we have the 5 levels, right? Yeah. So level 5 would mean that it also includes all 4 previous levels.
So political union has a common.
Yes. So it's a gradual development. Yeah. You cannot immediately achieve political unity. It's an evolving process. It takes a lot of time. So the EU history, right? It takes more than 80 years, right? All the way to now, not being a political union.
So ASEAN also political union.
Well, what do you think? You are ASEAN. You think so? I don't think so, but
Yeah, because there's no general legalization framework.
right. I mean, do you have a common external political, policy? External politics, when it comes to foreign affairs? Like, what's that person just mentioned, right? What's your stance on China, right? What about the China politics? Do all 10 member states have the same policy, towards, external foreign political issues? If yes, yeah, then it will be a trade, for the political union.
Do you have the same policies in, for example, different areas of society, like social welfare, right? Like taxation, immigration law, that would, all of that, would have to be consistent, in order to be a political party.
Just having some like politics commitment, generally.
Commitment. Commitment is not enough because you have to implement it, right? Right. So I think, who was that? Let me see who, some student today mentioned that Nora, she said it's a common market. She said it's a common market, right? Yeah, and I said it's going in the direction of the common market because even common market is not fully achieved yet. Yeah, because for common market, before you achieve as a you need to have a full systems, right?
Common market.
Freedom of goods, services, people, and capital you can transfer money between countries, you can open bank accounts, you can invest your money in other member states by buying real estates, buying stocks, is that possible? Yeah? So if that's possible, then it's a trade of a common market. I think ASEAN still has a long way to go. Right now, I would say it's a more advanced. It's more advanced, but it's not. Yes, it's not. It has not achieved yet. Not to mention political unity. Yeah, that's in a distant future. Yeah. Of course. A lot, when I think about B2B, from the perspective of the business, it's not everything is good about having a common currency. A lot of competition here. Say, ask you. Yeah, you are the finance guy. About the pros and cons of yes. start our discussion, right? So, who goes first? Please. Which group is first? Volunteers? Okay, good. So we have, can I have your name again? Joyce, okay. So please.
So we want to talk about the pros and cons of the common market.
Okay, I think the other classmates can listen in, okay, to Joyce. So which point would you emphasize here? Would you like to emphasize? What are the pros and cons, right? So again, our discussion question here is, what are the implications and more in concrete, right? What are the pros and cons of having a single currency operating, in a, monetary union, yeah, like Eurozone, right? From the perspective of businesses and consumers. So Joyce, what's your opinion here?
So from the consumer's perspective, of the consumers, they have variable products to choose from.
Yeah, okay, so the benefit is the consumers have a variety of products, brands to choose from. Okay, that's basically in a free trade area, right?
Yeah, and
basically.
beside the variety of product, they also have the lower price.
They can enjoy lower prices. How come?
How come?
Uh-huh.
Because we think the more competitors in the market,
Yeah.
the more competitor in price.
Okay, so your logical, your reasoning here is that in a monetary union, competition would increase. That's what you want to say.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh. What else?
And from the business perspective, in the common market, they reduce the tariff.
Free
no
of tariffs?
Yes, free of tariff
Yes.
among the members.
Yes.
And easier market access.
So free of tariffs translates into cheaper prices, right? Okay. Yeah. What else?
And of course, they can attract more foreign investors.
Why? Why doesn't monetary union attract more investors? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Or how your argumentation, how you can support your argumentation.
Like, we think because they already a common market, so it means they're free trade between amongst the member.
Yes.
So the FDI can invest into that area to
Yes.
enjoy the benefit of the common market. So it's not, sometimes it's not directly, but also in some way to attract more FDI to the regions.
Okay. So with respect to this, I would like to emphasize, right, the last point here. Yeah, so this is what Kirsten just mentioned, right? And also Joyce, right? A rise in intra-regional trade. Can you tell me what intra-regional trade means? How high is the percentage of intra-regional trade in ASEAN, for example? What does intra-regional trade mean?
The trading.
Right, you have a free trade area, plus you have a monetary union, right? Using one single currency, Eurozone, right? Yeah. So you said a lot of FDI will happen, right? And I want to emphasize, a lot of intra-regional FDI will happen. So this would mean that, for example, German companies
Can
invest a lot more, into, for example, Czech Republic, or French companies, invest a lot more into on Italian soil, for example, right? So there's a lot more of intra-regional FDI and also trade happening, right? Because of this favorable
economic conditions like, no trade barriers, right? Yeah, and also single currency, yeah, which makes it a lot more convenient and also, a lot easier, to calculate prices, right? Okay. So again, rise in inter-regional trade. Do you know how high inter-regional trade is in your areas? What does it mean? How much, what's the percentage of, what percentage, of products, that go into export, okay, are actually being exported to other member states. That's called inter-regional trade. Yeah, in EU, it's on average, okay, 70%. Can you picture that? What does 70% mean? Intra-regional trade. 70% means that actually, from the perspective of EU companies, right, the most important trade partners come from where?
State members.
From other, EU members, right? So they are amongst each other the most important trading partners. 70% of trade is happening inside the EU. Yeah? And you can check that, for AEC, for example, how much. It's a lot lower, by the way. Okay, for AEC, ASEAN, it's much lower. Okay, most of the export, of ASEAN countries, they go into non-ASEAN regions. Okay, yeah. But if you have this high intra-regional trade, right, very intensive inter-regional trade, the whole region will become more stable in terms of cooperation, right? Good. So Joyce, right? What else?